Wellness Your Wellness Your Way is a Vifinity lifestyle, and one of the things when folks get started, we encourage them to do is really to dig deep and to find their why. A very simple formula for this is simply, filling out the blanks. I want to do something because of something else. Um, your why should be very personal, and you should be able to feel it. In terms of my why is the fact that I want to be independent, and I see the toll that diet related illnesses have, had the effect on my mom and dad. And I don't want to be like that when I'm older. I had somebody tell me today, I want to be able to breathe. I had somebody else told me, I realized that I had not been treating my body like a temple. And I don't ever want to hear the words again, we have to do a biopsy. I mean, those are pretty powerful and pretty meaningful. So, it's really important. I have so many folks come to me and say, okay, I kind of fell off the wagon. I'm ready to get started. Well, now, unless they can tell me their why, I'm like, okay, well, I'm not really, not that I won't help you. Of course, I'll help everybody, but I really want folks to dig deep on this. So let's go ahead and let's go on to our next slide here. I'm sorry, I'm moving around. I feel like I'm not in the camera, but I think I am in the camera. There I am. Okay, great. So the thing about your why that's also significant is really kind of connecting with, how you'll feel when you get there. In my case, I told you my parents' health. They're 86 and 87. They're suffering from all kind of stuff as it related to diet related illnesses. Dr. Paul, I'd love to have you come on, and why don't you share your why with everybody?
My why is very much about, I am traditionally an all or none person. And for that reason, I would have a vacation coming up where I'd be headed to Mexico for a week or two. And guess what? I'd lose 30 pounds just to get in shape for that trip. And then guess what? You go on the trip and you get home and you're like, wow, I really done some damage. And here I go. And then I would gain 20 pounds again and then back down. So it was 3 times a year. And so my why is so much more about finding a sense of normalcy in taking care of myself and what wellness truly is, and not going from one extreme to the other. So for me to find products that made it simple and easy to be able to stay on track and know what's going on and exactly how to get back on track if I fall off for just a little bit. So for me, it was about stopping the extremes of my life and my health and my wellness, which in the long run is going to create more longevity for my life. So it was really about just giving up that whole up and down that was constantly a part of my life, feeling bad about myself before I knew a vacation was coming and stressing out because I wanted to feel good about how I looked when I was in my bathing suit or whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to get rid of that aspect of my life, and it made all the difference in the world.
That's awesome, Dr. Paul. We've known each other for a long time now, and it was always amazing to me how often you were dieting. But it's because I hadn't realized you gained 30 pounds. I'm like, wait, you just lost 30 pounds. Like, now I gained that all back. So how does it feel? How does it feel that you don't have to do that anymore?
Well, it's just a different kind of confidence. It's when you know that something is going to work every single time and it's based in wellness. When you start adding lifestyle basics to your life in terms of wellness, it changes everything because I have now incredible parts of my life that are on track all the time, because it's so simple. It's a part of my lifestyle. And then if I decide, this weekend I'm just going to take off and have fun and do whatever I feel like doing, I'm always going to be aware of what's happening because I'll feel bad if I do something that's too far off course, but I always can come back. And I have so much confidence in the fact that this system works for people. And it's been proven over those 3.5 years. It feels good to know that I always have something that I can take care of, the little sidetracks that I make in terms of wellness. But what I know is that 80% of the time, I am living a wellness lifestyle, and that's what is going to keep me going and prevent the extremes of detoxing and all the other things that I feel like I have to do when I'm doing that on a daily basis. So
it's awesome. Thank you. And you mentioned this is about wellness. Typically what happens when people get well is they lose weight. It's a crazy phenomenon. We have Lisa DeVorn with us. She lost 25 pounds over 6 months. She's actually aging in reverse, which is another amazing phenomenon. Lisa, I'd love for you to join us and share your why and share how you feel.
Absolutely. But first, thank you for saying I'm aging in reverse. Best compliment ever. So I started because I wanted to feel and look good, right? I wanted to live my best life. I was putting on 2 to 3 pounds for well over a decade. My doctor told me just expect that it's kind of normal at your age. And that was really quite frightening for the next decade or two to come. So I did try I gave it one more try, tried the program, it worked. And what's really nice is that I got rid of aches and pains and inflammation in my body that no doctor could really help me with and was putting me on the couch, basically. So those are my whys. I will say that over time, it's changed a little bit. Now that I'm here, I want to make sure I'm not on any scripts as I get older or put them off for as long as possible. And I just want to stay as healthy as possible.
How does it feel to be where you are now?
Great, liberating. It's liberating and a lot of confidence. And I cheat, right? I think we all cheat, but it's not that slippery slope anymore. I know what to do the next day to get back on track. So that is liberating, really.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as Dr. Paul mentioned, it's really the 80-20 rule. That's the thing we love about this. The products do the heavy lifting that if we implement the lifestyle basics and we supplement with those products, we really can, that combined with knowing why we want to do this, it's just a home run all the way around. So thank you so much for being on with us and for sharing that. Next, we have Mike Regan. Mike has been with us for a little bit more than 2.5 years, and he's lost 145-ish pounds. We're just looking back at stats in the past couple days, and actually at this point last year, he was down 137, which means that during the pandemic, Mike lost weight, an additional weight. The average American put on 29 pounds during 2020, and Mike had lost 137, maintained that, and continued to lose now to where he's been at 145. And that may fluctuate a pound or two in either direction. So we're incredibly proud of Mike. Mike's why has changed over time, but I don't want to share that. I want Mike to come on and tell us, Mike, why don't you tell us what was your why? What's your why now?
Yeah, hi, Jill. Yeah, and I think your why can evolve. And I think my original why was the picture on the left, and that was for my daughter's wedding, and I just didn't like the way I looked. And then a year later, we had a granddaughter on her way, and I wanted to be around for that, so that got me started. But over the last 2.5 years, that has evolved, and it's really involved to I've taken up exercise as part of my wellness journey, and I do a lot of running, and I'm always willing to put out lofty goals and try and reach them. So I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I signed up for the New Jersey Half Marathon in October. So I am now getting ready and training for that, which will continue to keep me on my wellness journey. Then I guess my second why now is, now that my kids are raised, and over the last couple of years, my wife and I had the opportunity to stop paying tuitions and start saving for our retirement. And I'm going to be around to drive her nuts. And the last thing I want is to disappear and have her spending our money with, Carlos the pool boy. So I want to make sure I'm around for that. So between, I call it the running the half marathon and making sure Carlos doesn't creep into her life, that keeps me going.
That's funny. I know you've told us before that, losing weight was never a problem for you, right? It was keeping it off, and you'd lost the same 100 pounds and gained them back multiple times.
Yeah.
How does it feel, in the past year to have not only lost, but to be maintaining, that 145-pound loss? How does it feel?
Nah, it feels great. And I'm going to steal from Lisa, liberating. And like you said, I have lost 100 pounds, 3 or 4, probably 5 times in my life. And it's sort of like you get to the 100 pounds for me, and it's like, all right, great. Now what? All right, let's start eating again. But this time it was, I was able to maintain it because I don't consider it the 80-20. I hadn't thought about that, but there are celebrations in life. And, if you're going to have a celebration, you just got to realize the next day you get back on program. And that has allowed me to, like you said, Jill, I do fluctuate a little bit. but I do it within reason. So in any given week, I could be up 2 or 3 pounds or down 2 or 3 pounds. And I don't, I know if I hit that, up 3 pounds, I know that I will lose it over the next couple of days and I'll stay right at, that's my maintain, that little fluctuation. In the past, wow, it's only 3 pounds. What's two more? Oh, it's only, I'm up to 5. What's the big deal? I only lost 95. That's still a lot of weight. And then slowly you're creeping 5 pounds on. Before you know it, it's like, wow, I was down 100. Now I'm only down 10 because I gained it, 5 pounds at a time, thinking no big deal. It's only gaining 5 pounds.
Okay, thank you. Excellent. As you were talking, Christina, I could not help but notice you're like shaking your head. And I got the feeling a lot of what Mike said resonated. I'm going to bring you on next. I'm just going to introduce you first. Christina De Palma Olender has lost 69.5 pounds with us. She's got 8 ounces to go before she hits her Reach for the Stars goal. When she started with us, and I actually found the texts that we exchanged in June and July of 2019, she was so freaking non-committal. I'm going to do this, but it's probably not going to work because, I got Hashimoto's and all the drugs you take for that, it's just impossible to lose weight. I mean, she was talking herself out of losing weight and she hadn't even started yet. And I saved those texts. But also in that message, her goal was to lose 50 pounds. Well, you can see she blew past that. She's been maintaining this loss for almost the better part of a year now. She's got 8 ounces to go. And I think it's in her right wrist because her left wrist, you can see her right wrist here. I'm like looking at this picture, I'm like, oh my gosh, like an inch in your wrist. But I could not be more proud of her and more happy for her. You can just tell how she's beaming in this picture here on the right. So Christina, we'd love to hear your why and hear how you feel. Uh-oh, it looks
Thanks,
like,
Jill. Well, my why is, I like everyone can hear me.
yeah.
My why, like everyone else, just to lose weight and to get healthy, because mainly I had some aches and pains that I knew that if I lost the weight, that would, go away. I can get more healthy to just be able to prevent going on to meds or maybe help with the meds that I'm on for my autoimmune. And frankly, and Jill, you know me enough, I'm always brutally honest. I didn't like the stigma of being the heavy person in the room. It's not easy, and I'm at a very comfortable place right now, and I really think that I can keep going with this. I know I'm going to break through that 70, and you'll be the first to know. But I'm feeling better now than I have in a long, long time, and I'm grateful for everything that we've got going here, and all of it, and all of you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina. I think your after picture here on the right just says it all. That smile shows the confidence. It shows how good you feel about your health now. And that's just amazing. Big Mike was laughing when you were saying big person in the room. Mike, does that resonate with you?
I've been the big person in the room since kindergarten.
Well, you guys, everyone here has just done a phenomenal job. You guys all started with knowing why you were doing this. You were committed. You also stayed connected. Even maybe when you didn't want to respond to my, hi, I'm just checking in text, you responded anyway. So kudos to all of you. We're going to move on now. Whys are significant when it comes to wellness, but as I mentioned earlier, the Affinity also has a business opportunity connected. And Dr. Paul is going to come on just to talk very briefly about some whys for if you want to create income with Affinity.
So, finding your why, as with anything in life, motivation comes from within. I mean, sure, we can be externally motivated by someone saying, if you attain this goal, we're going to give you this, or you get this award, or whatever the case may be. But for things that last, a lot of times it's going to come from internal motivation. And a lot of that internal motivation comes from discovering your why. And, people think, oh, why do I want to do this? Yeah, I want to make an extra $500 a month. I'd love to be able to share wellness with people and help people along their journey by rooting them on with all the support that we have with the Affinity. And I want to make some extra money. And it's like, well, okay, what would it feel like to create an extra $500 a month? Maybe that's what you're looking for, because that $500 a month all of a sudden does something for you. And so when you're finding your why, if it's like, yeah, oh my gosh, it feels good just to have another $500 a month, just to give me some breathing room. And then my next question would be, well, why is that important to you? Why does that matter to you? And then, as I'm talking to someone, I've helped so many people through this process. As I'm talking to them, they're like, I mean, I can't even imagine what it would feel like to not have the stress wondering, like, what did I forget about that's going to go through my account and make me negative, and then create that little snowball of fees and all the other stuff. Like, I can't imagine, like, I just don't want to feel the stress of it anymore. There's so many people that just want that extra 500. So it's a cushion. I don't want to feel the stress of it anymore. And then I'm like, well, why is that important to you? And they start to dig in deeper, and they're like, it's because I remember what my parents went through when they couldn't put food on the table, and they were always stressed, and they were fighting all the time because of money. And you just get down to these root causes, and it's like, that makes sense as to why. So, tune in that, figure out what it is. And, we've probably heard the phrase, find your why that makes you cry. And a lot of times, if you start digging down, it may seem superficial at first, but as you start digging down and say, wow, how will it feel when you get to that point, when you don't have to stress about the finances, when you know that there's less stress in your life, so you can focus on relationships instead of all the other things you have to focus on. So there's a lot that goes into that. Some people just want to be debt free. Some people, it's about retirement. Like, I want to be able to get to retirement and know that I've done my part, and all this extra, whether it's $500 a month, $50 a month, or $4,000 a month, there's amazing things that can happen when people create goals. And that's just about money. But a lot of people, what is your why? Why do you want to be well? There's so many reasons for that, which you just heard. And so, some people it's image driven. Some people it's how I feel driven. I just don't want the aches and pains. Some people it's, I just want to know that I could accomplish something I set my mind to. Maybe it's about, accomplishments or reaching a goal. Some people it's about giving back. I want to create the time and space in my life because I have this income that I can then use my time and space, instead of working an extra 10 hours a week, giving back to an organization that I love with my time and volunteering. And then for others, it's just making a difference. Some people are driven purely by the fact that I love to see my friends feel better. I love to see my friends get well. And I love creating a community of people that really want to help others figure out why they want to create change in their life. So many people are disenfranchised with life coming out of the year that we've been in. A lot of people are really having a rough time, whether they put on the average 29 pounds, which blows my mind, or whatever it happens to be. People are disenfranchised. And, we want people that want to make a change to really dig in and find that why. And that's what we're here to help people do is, whatever part of this entire company, whether it's using the products or the lifestyle basics, or deciding that you want to create some extra income in your life, that's what we're here to help you do, and figure out why you want to do that and help you lock arms with you on that journey. And there are so many amazing consultants in Beefinity that are willing to do that. And that's what we're here for, is to help people find the best life that they can. So we're so grateful that you guys joined us tonight. Jill, do you want to close out for us? Okay, well then you guys have a wonderful night. We're so grateful you joined us, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye-bye.